Hello, this is Dr. Janet Six, Senior Product Manager at Tom Sawyer Software, and today we're going to talk about how to use automatic bindings for graph databases. With automatic bindings, you can integrate with a graph database and visualize its contents without knowing the graph database schema or contents. You can extract the schema from the database, then bind elements from the database to the model by using queries customized for your use case. This can give you a first impression of your data and is also an excellent starting point for creating a more customized project. We're going to open the Perspectives Designer. The first step is to add a module. A module contains one schema describing the data, integrators, drawing templates, visualization views, search, filter, analysis configurations, and a view layout. Next, we're going to add a TinkerPop Integrator. Let's take a closer look at the settings available here. We have the location of the database and the related settings. Then we have the test data source to verify that we have connected to the database correctly, and the extract schema so that we can automatically extract the structure of the database. Next, we have the locale of the database, and then some specialized options in Perspectives. First is Adhere to Schema. If a schema exists and this option is selected, the result set will be limited to the elements and attributes that are defined in the schema. The result set will also be limited by the source and target configuration of any edge element types. The Load Missing Nodes for Edges setting ensures that the placeholder nodes for every edge are always populated with properties from the data source. This setting is useful when a query only asks for edges. Selecting Limit Committed Element Types when using automatic bindings with Neo4j, Neptune Gremlin, Neptune OpenCipher, OrientDB, and TinkerPop integrators. You do not need to write, create, modify, and delete queries to commit changes back to the database. By default, the commit operation will automatically save all changes. Use the Exclude or Include option to control which element types are committed to the database. With the exception of computed attributes, all attributes of each element type will be committed unless you use the Exclude Attributes on Commit setting. Now we're going to define the location of the database and also the settings which need to be used. Here we're going to pick the appropriate serializer. Then we're going to test the data source to make sure we can connect to it correctly. And now we're going to browse and select a graph because there can be many graphs within a graph database. Next, we're going to extract the schema automatically. So we see that 5 new model element types have been added. Let's go take a look. So we go over to the schema, and we can see the elements which were extracted automatically here in the tree or in the drawing canvas. So you can work how you prefer. Let's go back to the integrator definition and bring data into our model by using a query. So now we're going to add a new query, enter a Gremlin query. In this case, we're using a simple Gremlin query to bring 75 elements into our model. Now we're going to hit the refresh button and see a preview of the data that we're bringing into the model. And the tooltips here are showing us the attributes in each element. Now that the model is populated, I'm going to open the web preview using a drawing view and table view that I have added. You can see more details on how to add drawing and table views on the Tom Sawyer Software YouTube channel. And here is the data from our graph database. While we're here, let's see the different layout styles. Here's bundle layout, circular layout, hierarchical layout, symmetric layout, and back to orthogonal layout. Let's go back to the designer and update our query so we can bring more data into our application. To go back to the integrator definition and update our query, we're going to change this 75 to 300. That is the only change. We refresh the model and we can see that there's more data in the preview. Let's go back to the web preview and see our updated application. There is much more data showing now due to that one small change that we made in the query. Now we're going to go back to the designer and see how to add a second query to our automatic binding. We're going to go to Queries, click on the plus sign, name the query, and then enter the new Gremlin query. We'll hit the refresh button and we'll see the new preview below. Let's go back to our web preview and see our new data. And here is the drawing view showing us the results of both queries. In today's video, we described what an automatic binding is and how to use it to visualize the contents of a graph database and build graph visualization and analysis applications quickly. Thanks for joining us. Contact Tom Sawyer Software today to start your free trial of Tom Sawyer Perspectives.